What's up? What's up? What's up? Frenemies, enemies, friends, family, and foe. What's going on? For those of you who don't know, I am that man that goes by the name of Clyde Rush. What's up? How you doing? What's happening with you out there? Look, this is gonna be a doozy, y'all. This is gonna be the one. This today is the one. I've been doing I've been doing so good for such a long period of time while I was doing these podcasts. And you know what? Today's that day. All right. So what we're about to go into right now, look, I've done my best keeping it simple, kissing, keeping it simple, sweetie, shorty, whatever way you want to put in there. And I've done my best keeping things on a very surface level today. And I don't know if I'll even be able to return because of expansion. And if you understand the laws about expansion, nothing actually returns back to its original state once it's been expanded. And I've been expanded, y'all. And it's time for your expansion as well. We're talking about the quantum body, physical alchemy. We're talking about coherence. We're talking about the Light Body podcast. Look, today we're going into cellular structure, okay? We're talking about epigenetics, and we're talking about subatomic subatomic cellular structure within the body. I know, but I'm gonna do, I can't even say how simple I'm gonna keep it because I can't say that. I won't know what's gonna actually happen on here until it's actually done. So look, let's just understand that first is cells to tissues, tissues to organs, organs to the systems of the body. On a subatomic level within the body, there is energy. When we think about energy, we're thinking about protons, neutrons, and electrons. We're thinking about atoms because atoms actually protons, neutrons, and electrons, right? And I know you're like, how does this even regulate towards the body? Well, between our wealth, our health, and our relationships, each of those different things carry a different frequency. That's right. We're jumping right in this. Okay. So we're talking about frequency, energy, and vibration within the body that you are housed in right now. Look, all I'm doing for you at this particular moment is getting you to remember who you truly are. If you can remember who you truly are and you can forget about who you've been conditioned, socialized, and institutional along the lines of limitation to become, you'll understand that the true greatness that relies within you hasn't even been tapped yet. We get so caught up in our situations, circumstances that we get befuddled, we get bewildered with the greatness that's actually within us because we get so mesmerized by what they, them, and those and others say that we should be doing. We should be at this place. We should be at that place. We should have this. We should have that. What do you say you should have? How much compromising have you been doing over the course of your life that you've been reduced down to the lowest common denominator as your neighbor, as the enemy across the street, as the person who doesn't desire for you to be the greatest version of yourself? And sometimes that person that doesn't even want you to be the greatest version of yourself is within you. Can you imagine that the inside of you is actually fighting you from becoming the best version of yourself? Why? Because of the conditioning, because you've been taught how to be fearful. You've been taught how to compromise your true self. You've been taught how to not go against the grain to become the best version of yourself. Listen, we have software within inside our cellular structure called the genetic code. Jesus, we have this double helix, right? And that double helix is embedded with not just a couple of generations before, it's embedded with the information of the university of this universe that we actually live. That's right. I said the university of the universe that we actually live in. Check that out. So you actually have within you, embedded in not one cell, out of the 37 trillion cells that you actually have in your body that make you you, you have embedded in each one of those cells a university of this universe that we live in. The question is, do you tune in, tap in, and turn on to that? And if you do, what would happen? Well, the things that you see that you think you see, you understand is not really what you truly see. I know it sounds like it's a loop, and mathematically, these things can actually be proven, but not with the mathematical structures that we've been taught how to learn what math actually is. See, you can't do math without physics. And once you understand physics, you understand geometry. And once you understand geometry, it's not about trigonometry and algebraic expressions and all of the different things. We're talking about sacred geometry. What is sacred geometry? Sacred geometry is the grid that this body is actually encompassed on. Like There's layers to the body, right? I get so excited thinking about this stuff. It's so crazy. But it's not just for me. I'm even resonating. You're gonna see I'm gonna start sweating in a couple of minutes because this is the stuff that ignites my spirit, and it's the stuff that my soul is on fire for the desires to get this full expression about who we truly are. When I think back when I was bodybuilding and I was first making this first transformation in my body, and I thought about 5 key areas. I thought about the environment that I was in. I thought about the work that I was doing. I thought about the relationships that I actually had, whether I was investing in myself or not, or what was the health state of my body, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, and teaching myself how to command this body that I actually live in. Relationships. The first relationship that I actually had was the relationship that I had with myself. What was the inner dialogue that I was saying to myself? How was I self-soothing myself? How was I medicating myself? Well, check this out. We got 37 trillion cells, 37.2 trillion cells, or more, or less, within the body, right? We have something that's called stem cells. Oh, goodness. Stem cells are those cells that come up to repair the body as far as tissues, cartilage, the cellular structure of the body. Stem cells is just laying in the cut sleeping. They just laying there waiting for expression, right? But they only come up to heal and help the body when it's in a state of recovery and rest and repair. Recovery, rest, and repair. When you go to sleep, if there's something that's actually happened within the body where the tissues or the structure or the cellular structure of the body starts to decay, right? Atrophy starts to go on within the body, and there's all these different terms that actually go on as far as this transformation that happens with cellular therapy within the body, cellular regeneration, right? Excuse me, but this just gets that dopamine release within inside myself. And if you can just listen to this thing, I don't care how many times you have to listen to this, just keep listening to it again and again and again and again. And then don't just share this with somebody else, because I promise you, this is really some stuff. We're talking about epigenetics, right? And I know I'm jumping around all over the place, but all these different things are comprised with this cellular structure. We think about the mitochondria within the cell, which is the powerhouse that actually keeps the cell going, the cytoplasma that's actually in the cell. We talk about the different structure, cells actually peeking out, looking at what the other cells are doing. Check that theory out right there, right? So if cells are looking at other cells and they're replicating what the other cells are doing, what happens if we reprogram the cell for health, wealth, and wiseness and relationships? I said it. What happens when you reprogram the cells within your body for a higher degree of expression of living the life it is that you truly desire to live? Listen, on the occipital lobe in the back of your head, you see the vision on the mind or the mind screen showing what it is that you truly desire to have based on what's actually within the heart. So this heart that we actually have within this chest, the pulsating thing creates a frequency, energy, and a vibration. When we can get something that's called congruency within the head self, and integrate that with the heart self, that's called heart-brain coherence. That means we have homeostasis within the body. When we have homeostasis within the body, we have peace, we have order, we have structure, not chaos, not dismay. We have a full expression about who we are. When we think about my art, truth, justice, balance, order, propriety, reciprocity, harmony, peace, 7 principles of my art: truth, justice, balance, harmony, propriety, peace, reciprocity. When we have those things going on within the body, we're at peace. And when the body's at peace, we're in a vibration. And this vibration is effortless. It's peace. It's not about functioning on beta waves. We actually functioning on alpha waves. And when we function on alpha waves inside this brain of ours, there's oscillation that actually happens, but it's a peaceful type of oscillation that happens where the subconscious part of the mind starts to engage. And it starts to release these supernatural powers that you actually have about abilities beyond recognition that you know yourself to be, because you're always in a state of beta where you're actually fight, flight, freeze, or hide, fear. All right, because you think about, how am I going to just survive this next minute? But when you allow yourself to slip into alpha state, and you slip into that alpha state, and now the subconscious part of the mind is relaxed because the body is in homeostasis. And more often than not, you're operating in a parasympathetic system as opposed to the sympathetic nervous system. And when you can slip into the parasympathetic nervous system of your body, you're operating in rest, digest, relax, and pleasure. Rest, digest, relax, and pleasure. When the body's operating on rest, digest, relax, and pleasure, you're at rest and recovery. And guess what stem cells get to do? The stem cells get to do what they do by going in and doing the repairs on the structure of the body, down to the fascia level of the system of operation that this body's actually functioning and operating on. I know we're talking about the quantum body. We're talking about physical alchemy. What's the transmutation that I can do on the cellular structure of my body on a quantum level? Look, if I was to tell you how old I really am, it'd probably trip you out because it trips me out because I keep saying 27. I'll be 27 for the rest of my life, okay? Period. I don't know. There's something about that 2 and 7 equals 9, and 9 is a magic number. So that's the reason why it resonates with me. You find your own number. Maybe it's 33. Whatever that number may be for you. Listen, there's so much information between baby boomers. There's so much information between Generation X. There's so much information between millennials and what actually happens with each one of those generational groups as far as their mindset shifts are concerned, okay? And we can get more into that stuff later on, but what I'm talking about specifically now is who are you? Not who they say you are. When you came here embedded with this information about how to create and transform the world based on you. But we sit down and we lay in dormant. We take on these limited thinking capacities. We put this shield of doubt, gloom, and despair on top of our heads. We walk around with this cap on, and we never aspire to be the greatest version of ourselves. I know I'm going into this stuff, and I know I'm all over the place, but look, there's a common thread that's being woven here. And the one thing that I'm saying to you is this. Energy can never be created, can never be destroyed, always was, always will be, always moving in and out of form, okay? You've been here. You've been here quite a few times. This is nothing new to you, okay? The success that you truly desire to have, the person that you truly desire to be is within inside you, but you've compromised it so much that you've given up on the true you. And all that I'm saying to you is remember who you are. You were sent here with a specific mission and intention to live the life, not just for you, but to have a full expression to help others become the best version of themselves through your situation, strain, stress, and struggles, the challenges and confrontations and adversities that you turned into advantages, the obstacles that you turned into opportunities, those things that make you so different and so unique that you believe discredited you from being the best version actually contribute to you being the best version. We got plenty of people out there who are entrepreneurs, right? And they're trying to figure out, how do I get my product, program, or service to the marketplace? Oh, I don't have the certification. I don't have a PhD. I don't have a masterate. I didn't finish college. I didn't finish high school. I almost didn't finish grade school. I had to go start work at this age. I had to go. And we sit there and we get bewildered with all this information about nothing. And then we don't end up producing anything. Put all that stuff in a box, put it in a can, put it in a cauldron, set it on fire, burn it up, walk away from it, and start living the best life. It's never too late. Listen, you can choose to get old if you want to, or you could choose to become ageless. What happens if you become ageless and you start living in your agelessness? That's a whole nother concept. That means that whatever my stuff is, I'm not limited by that. I'm uniquely designed. All my flaws make me unique and special. See, nobody can have the experiences that you have because they're your experiences. Nobody can learn from what you've learned from unless you decide to show up and teach it. If you decide to show up and teach from your unique signature frequency, what would the world look like? That's the question that I have for you. How would this world shift from what it is to what it's designed to be with you stepping up, showing up, and instead of keeping the information to yourself, you become a contributor and you contribute to society based on who you are, your uniqueness, not the story you're telling yourself over and over about who you're not, the story about who you truly are on the hero's journey. and you start to alchemize the cellular structure in your body. And now that ego state doesn't sit there in fear. The ego state says, what happens, my dear? It's time for you to show up. It's time for you to become, because now your ego empowers you. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't limit you, because all the ego can do is protect you from the thing it is that you were fearful of. What happens when you become fearful and you face, like I say all the time, everything in rise? And the ego takes that information on, because guess what? Energy always is, always was, moving in and out of form, can never be created, never be destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? So the whole thing with this is, we can talk about the laws of thermodynamics. We can talk about quantum energies and theories of relativity. We can talk about mathematical structures, even math. And look, the system of mathematics is being challenged right now. I don't know whether you all know that or not, but the system of mathematics is being challenged. We could talk about square roots of 2 and start to break different things down, and you can start to understand the conundrums of those different things that are actually set in motion. We could talk about all the teaching that's been so-called taught, all the books that have been put out that they don't want to invest in, and get rid of those books and really put the right information in. We talked about educo in education and what that actually means as far as the Latin word. And it's talking about bringing out which already is in, not putting you in a state of regurgitated information and getting you some degree in quotology about really nothing that doesn't really serve the universe in any way besides the way that it's already been perpetuated with a state of limitation and doomation, and actually does nothing for the self. And if it does nothing for the self, how can it serve others, right? So think about this, right? All I'm saying to you is the best version of yourself is still within inside you. Doesn't make a difference of the age you are. Stop telling yourself I'm getting older. I'm ageless. Be ageless. You have the structure inside you, biologically within you already right now, not later on. Telomeres, the end caps on each one of the chromosomes that actually stay inside within the body. We're talking about longevity and vitality for life, right? Who says you got to get old? No, I'm not. I ain't getting older. I'm ageless. All right. So the whole thing with this is just understanding, listen, what happens when you become ageless? The vitality for living for life. You don't eat just to eat. You eat to sustain. What are the things that you need to eat sustain? Check out the color patterns of the food that you eat, right? You always see me talking about pineapples. You always see me talking about, bright colored fruits. You see me talking about different, textures about things that it is that we need to eat so that we can get the proper minerals, nutrients, and macronutrients for inside the body. Why? For cellular structure. We could talk about HGH, human growth hormones. We could talk about peptides. We could talk about nootropics. We can talk about all of that stuff, because all of these different things impact this very system of operation that we actually have. Remember, on the subatomic level, we're talking about atoms within the body, electrons, protons, and neutrons. When we talk about those different things, how do those different things express itself within the body? Your body. Now, look, let me tell you something. I decided to go today. I decided to go today and just rip and run. All right. So my suggestion to you is just listen to this again. Take out one thing, or take out whatever it is that you can handle. The Bible says, rightly divide the word and study and show thyself approval. And I know there's many translations and many versions of it and all these other different things, but there's basic applications of what actually happens, what actually is written inside there. All right. So all I'm saying to you is there are universal laws that govern the universe that we actually live in. Once you start to understand what those laws are and you start to utilize those laws in your life, they've got to produce its same kind. It's scientifically, right? So what is science? Science actually says something has to be proven and it can be duplicated again and again and again, no matter who does it. That's a universal law. Science. Well, the science that we actually know, right? So each thing leads to the next thing and it leads to the next thing. As the observer, and you understand, you probably heard this thing before about observing a particle as it converts from a wave to this format. We talk about matter and understanding all these different things as the observer, and that particle will actually observe you observing it and convert itself to what it is that you truly want it to become. What happens if you really understand what you want that particle to truly become, and then it manifests itself right in front of your eyes? What would you do? Well, we have the power to do that. The question is do you believe that you do? Because you're getting what you actually are. You get what you are on a subatomic level. So it's important for us to really change that and reprogram that based on the cellular structure of the body and who it is that we truly are, and go through that process. Epigenetics says the environment has a way of impacting the cellular structure and its expression. Epigenetics says that it has a way of gene expression regulation. So that means that my environment has the ability to change and unlock the structures of my genetic code. Yeah, epigenetics. So look, with that being said, I don't know. It couldn't have been more than 5 or 10 minutes that I've been on here with this thing. And if it was more than that, that means that I've just happened to go into a blip. And if you understand what a blip is, a quirk, then good for you. If you haven't and you don't understand what that is, I suggest you find out what it is, because it's really important that you do understand, because we talk about these time constructs where there really is no time, right? Look, with that being said, this is the way we're going from this point out. All right. I'll do I'm not even going to say what I'm going to do. I'm just going to show up here. Okay. Buckle up, enjoy the ride, and let's just go for it. Let's just understand that faith is the substance and the evidence of that thing that's unseen. All right. It's the evidence of the belief in the thing that's unseen to manifest itself. What's your faith level? What have you attempted to manifest that you still haven't manifest? I'm going to give you a little secret. If you truly want to manifest the thing, you can't hold on to it. You actually got to let it go and let the universe create it. And then you draw it back with the heart. Get a clear intention in your mind. See it, full sensory. And I'm not just talking about the full sensory, see, hear, smell, taste, touch. Well, basically, we must function in that capacity because of this dimension that we live in. And everything in this dimension is see, hear, smell, taste, or touch. But what happens in a higher dimension, where it's about perception, reason, memory, and will, and imagination? Okay? Higher realm, perception, imagination, memory, reason, will. That's the upper part, okay? And no matter what it is that you do, you got to attach it with this heart. That's the vibrational force that pulsates and brings it back. There's something that's called the morphic field. I know. It's like, where's this guy? What is happening here? Look, next time we talk, we're going to talk about this morphic field and what's actually in it. And we're going to talk about this grid, this sacred geometry grid, okay? Because that's really important for us to really understand. I'm going to keep it in. I'm not even going to say what I'm going to keep it as. I just know I'm going to show up. Morphic field, I'm writing it down right now. Morphic field and sacred geometry, okay? Listen, that's what we're going on. Morphic field, sacred geometry, show up in the place to be, universal laws that govern this universe that we actually live in, understanding the university of the universe that resides within you in each and every single cell in your body. If you only knew, and if you could only remember what you don't remember, you'd be powerful. They say that you can light up a whole city with the energy that's within your body. Do you believe that? All I'm saying to you is it's all possible. Do your thing. We'll see what's up. Peace, blessings, prosperity, and abundance. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your day. One love.